In the year 2342, humanity had conquered the stars and unraveled the secrets of the genome, but it had still not found a cure for the oldest pain: loss. Alara Vance knew that pain intimately. She carried it like a chip implanted in her soul, a vivid and constant memory of a time that would not return. In her minimalist apartment overlooking the pulsating neon lights of Neo Sao Paulo, Alara relived for the 1000th time Leah's smile, her daughter, her world. Leah. The name was an echo in her heart. The accident 5 years ago had been a blur of twisted metal and blaring sirens, but the memories were crystalline. The smell of Leah's hair, the warmth of her hand in hers, the incessant questions about the universe. Alara clung to them like a lifeline in an ocean of despair. In that era, memories weren't just feelings. They were data, stored, accessible, and for many, negotiable. The memory market was a spectacle of colors and sounds, a labyrinth of glass booths where vendors displayed their most precious merchandise, experiences. From the thrill of virtually climbing Mount Everest to the serenity of a Martian sunset, everything was for sale. Alara rarely visited. For her, her own memories were sacred, untouchable. But today, a morbid curiosity had pulled her into that place of soul commerce. She watched a young woman laughing hysterically while experiencing a memory of a tropical vacation. To Alara, it was a farce. But then, her eyes landed on a more discreet booth, where a familiar hologram flickered. It was Leah, her Leah, but the tag beneath the hologram read, "Happy Childhood Memory, Family Package, Seller, Nexus Corp." Alara's heart froze. How could a memory so intimate, so personal, be for sale? And why the name of a generic seller? A wave of nausea hit her. She bought the memory, her body trembling. As she activated it in her neural implant, the scene unfolded in her mind identical to her own, but with a subtle, almost imperceptible difference. A detail out of place, a nuance in Leah's laugh that wasn't hers. The seed of doubt was planted, a crack in the foundation of her reality.
The doubt turned into an obsession. Alara used all her savings, all her contacts. She plunged into the digital underworld of the memory trade, tracking Nexus Corp, unraveling layers of encryption and pseudonyms. Every clue led to a dead end, a new layer of deception. She confronted street vendors, memory hackers, even former corporate employees. The truth was elusive, like smoke between her fingers. With each step, Alara's reality became more fragile. Family photos seemed slightly altered. Videos had almost imperceptible digital glitches. The memory she held so dear began to disintegrate under scrutiny. The pain of loss was replaced by a cold terror. What if Leah had never existed? What if her entire life, her love, her grief, were a construction? Alara's search finally led her to Dr. Aris Thorne, a name whispered in the darkest corners of the memory market, a reclusive genius, the true architect behind Nexus Corp and countless other front companies. She found him in a subterranean laboratory, a sanctuary of technology and secrets, where reality itself was forged. Dr. Thorne, I want the truth about Leah, about my memories. Miss Vance, I've been expecting you. The memories, they are a comfort, are they not? Especially when reality is too cruel to bear. Thorne revealed the truth, a truth more devastating than anything Alara could have imagined. The program wasn't for selling memories, but for creating them. A secret project funded by governments and corporations. With her soul in tatters, Alara did not allow herself to crumble. The pain of the truth was excruciating, but the anger, the fury at the manipulation, ignited a flame within her. She would no longer be a silent victim.
She would demand answers, not just for herself, but for all those who, like her, might be living a life of lies. Ilara returned to Thorne's laboratory, no longer as a supplicant, but as an accuser. You played with people's lives, Thorne, with their pain, with the very essence of reality. I did not play, Miss Vance. I offered solace. In a world where loss is inevitable and the pain unbearable for many, Project Eden, as we called it, was an attempt to alleviate suffering. We created memories of perfect loved ones, without flaws, without the pain of illness or goodbye. Millions of people found peace, found a purpose to carry on, believing their loved ones still lived on in their minds.
Thorne's justification was cold, calculated, but Ilara could see the shadow of a twisted conviction in his eyes. He believed he was doing good, shaping reality for the collective well-being, even if it meant destroying individual truth. Society, in its relentless pursuit of happiness and absence of pain, had allowed the line between the real and the fabricated to dissolve. The market for false memories was just the tip of the iceberg of a much larger manipulation. Days passed. Ilara isolated herself, processing the avalanche of information. The image of Leah, once a beacon of love and pain, was now a ghost, a construct. She could try to expose Thorne, to fight the system that allowed such deception. But what would be the cost? To destroy the peace of millions living in their illusions? Or could she, somehow, accept this new and brutal reality?
Ilara's choice was not between right and wrong, but between painful truth and comforting illusion. She had lost Leah twice, once to the accident and again to the truth. But in losing the illusion, she found something else. She found herself, stripped of lies, ready to face reality, however harsh it might be. The memory of Leah, though fabricated, had shaped who she was. The love she had felt, the pain that had consumed her, all of it was real to her. And that, she realized, was what mattered. Ilara Vance did not expose Project Eden. She understood that truth, at times, is a burden too heavy to impose. Instead, she chose a different path. She became a voice, a counselor for those who, like her, were beginning to question the authenticity of their own memories. She did not offer false hope, but rather the strength to embrace reality, to rebuild identity upon true foundations, however painful they might be. The 24th century continued to trade memories, to manipulate perception, but somewhere in the shadows of the glittering cities, Ilara Vance planted seeds of truth. She had learned that memory is not just a record of the past, but the foundation of the present and the promise of the future, and that the true essence of humanity lies not in fabricated perfection, but in the courage to face one's own reality with all its joys and its sorrows. The daughter who never existed taught her how to truly live, and that, for Ilara, was the most valuable memory of all.